Andy Dunn in the Sunday Mirror has done a big feature on Pep Guardiola, the almost perfect 10, he calls it. This is 10 years of Pep Guardiola. Incredible to think that it is 10 years for Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. His piece reads, at 3 minutes past 1 o'clock in the afternoon on this day, a decade ago, Manchester City made one of the most significant announcements in the history of English club football. But the written confirmation of his arrival on these shores challenged conventional football wisdom. That is the Guardiola legacy that is indisputable. Do you feel it will be 10 years and out for Pep at the end of this season?
I wouldn't be surprised at all if he were to leave at the end of the season, because when a big manager does go, if they announce it in advance, then it just causes a massive storm. It just does, naturally. Of course, there's uncertainty amongst the players when that happens, big time. They're all on the phone to their agents, and it just hugely disrupts their chances of winning the Premier League. And they're still very much in the title race, even though they've been way off their peak standard. They just are. And of course, you know, Arsenal could have a wobble because they've not been there for so long. We've already discussed that. But yeah, I could absolutely see him going at the end of the season. He went through a lot personally last season, as we're aware, and that can count for a lot. But also, 10 years is a long, long time. We've seen Luis Enrique taking time out before. Top managers, they don't have a well that's just everlasting for them to dip into, the resources and the energy. Being a top manager like that takes a huge amount of emotional energy and resource. And that's just a huge amount of time to be in that job. So I don't think it'd be a surprise. It wasn't a surprise to me when Klopp left, because again, that was another huge amount of energy that was taken up in one job. And I think there are reasons why managers try not to make it clear when they're going.
They've gone big in this transfer window, Riath. Antoine Semenyo and Mark Gahey both arrived at the Etihad. Are you convinced that City can still be that team that can reel off 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row in the Premier League like they have done previously and really challenge Arsenal for the title?
Yeah, because they've got players in that squad who've done it before. And we're not talking about players who have tipped 30, players who are on the downside. We're talking about players who've gone out of form for prolonged periods, but they've all got sufficient muscle memory in that squad to know what it is to reel off those games. It's what we were talking about in the first part of the show. This title race gets interesting when Arsenal actually have a real version of Manchester City chasing them, because we haven't seen that version of City possibly for 18 months. The fact that it's Guardiola, the fact that it's Haaland, the quality in that squad, you know it's going to come back. You know it is in there and they can tap into it. But the upgrades they've made are incredibly strong. We know about Gahey. We've seen what Semenyo's done since he's even got there. There doesn't seem to have been any awkwardness in that transition like we saw with Wirtz, obviously coming in from a different league. It's taken him a little bit of time at Liverpool to just pace the game. You know, we could see from day one with Wirtz that he had that technical ability to do anything with a ball. It was just picking up those rhythms of a Premier League match. Semenyo, that's not a question. We've seen it at Bournemouth. It's why he got the move. I think he's going to add a huge amount to them. I want to see what they do to Tottenham today, because that's one of those. Tottenham are a funny team. Tottenham are a weird club. Is it going to be the midweek Spurs or the weekend Spurs, which is generally diabolical? Because if they run into a good Tottenham, maybe something strange happens. But it's also a game where I wouldn't take 5-0 off the table, because it's ManCity and it's Spurs. So it's. But it could. The key with City is it could take one of those absolute wallopings where suddenly they wake up and they come out of it and they are Manchester City again. And it is one of those 5-6 runs, and then we've got a title race to talk about.
Doesn't usually happen against Spurs, because City historically don't like this fixture under Pep Guardiola, Martin. But Matt Barlow's piece in the Mail on Sunday, we've been here before a little bit. Any Spurs fan who wants to lose today has no right to moan if they go down. It has been one of the narratives. Do Spurs fans actually want City to win this game to dent you-know-who's title challenge? They need to be careful what they wish for, though, don't they, given the position that they're in just now?
Yeah, I can't really see. I can't understand why you'd want your own team to lose. I don't understand that thing where the hatred of another team, of another club, consumes you to such an extent that it's bigger than your love for your own club. I've never understood that at the start of Chelsea matches when they're playing, and they say we hate Tottenham before they say Chelsea. They actually talk about hating, the chant of hating Tottenham comes before the chant of Chelsea, and I've never understood that. And so no, I don't get why you would want to lose to Manchester City today. I don't get that. Interesting, Jacqui's point about Pep and not being surprised if he left. But equally, would you not be surprised if he stayed? I think this is the thing with Pep, that nobody knows. I don't think City know. You know, when you talk to people at City about how they handle these conversations with Pep, it's done by Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, and it's, well, when the time's right, we're not going to talk to him about it at the moment because he's at the sort of head-scratching phase, or we're not going to talk to him, no, it's not right at the moment. And then he will decide a moment at which it is the right time to raise with Pep,
Will his
what are you
future be
thinking?
dependent on whether they win one of the big 2 trophies
Well,
or
see,
not?
this is the interesting... You see, that's another interesting thing, because people don't like to go out... Alex Ferguson, everyone's in awe of the way that Alex left Manchester United. You put the title on the table, right, there you go.
Second time. First time he announced
Yeah,
it,
the first
very
time,
well.
yeah, and then, but the second time, when he actually left, when he went, right, there you go, there's the trophy, that's me done. Thank you
And he
very
did
much.
it against the odds with a really ageing squad
With an
as well,
aging
and he
team, when
eked every last drop
exactly, Ryan Clough got relegated, for God's sake, at Nottingham Forest. That was his last season in English football. He got relegated. So I think there's none of these guys are without ego. You don't want to go out having lost the title to Arsenal by 12 points or something like that. I don't know. It just sounds really strange. I wouldn't be surprised if he left. I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed.
I think I would be, the most surprised I would be is if he wins the league and chooses to stay.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
he would take that as
Yeah.
the off-ramp and go to New York and go to shows and read books for a year, whatever.
should, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. The way this
so
guy
much.
lives every moment of it.
And also the way it might go with the charges that are against Manchester City, which
Yeah.
he obviously had nothing to do with. But just that must be pretty stressful to live with all that's hanging over the club forever and ever and ever.
It's actually a legacy, and that impacts on your legacy and how people perceive these 10 years.